Chatty.
Oh, stupid call.
Hello.
We're frozen. I'm not on Wi-Fi anymore since we're down here, so
I think
hopefully
it'll be alright.
we'll have good service.
I think we'll be okay. Sorry we're late today. It's my fault. Probably if we are ever late, it's gonna be my fault. Just full disclaimer. It is what it is. My apologies. We are...
You want to share it on your page? I don't have
Oh,
my phone,
yeah.
or my computer, so we can share it on yours at least.
Boop-a-doop. Someone sat on their truck.
See.
Golly, that cough.
It's a good moment to chime in.
Golly, that cough.
It's a good moment to chime in.
That's
Golly, that cough. It's a good moment to chime in. I love that keeps her playing.
It's because it's playing on here. Okay.
Okay.
Glad no one's watching that. I don't know why people don't watch us live. Some people do.
We ready?
We
are ready.
already.
Okay. From national parks to theme parks. A travel experience. I'm Cherie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
Let's go to the park.
Today's park is Custer State Park. We just visited Custer last month, and I'm not sure why we waited so long to visit Custer State Park in South Dakota.
True. You know, I was telling Blake, North and South Dakota were never really high on my list because I didn't realize all of the goodies that were there.
And they're not even scattered about. They're
Right.
just all in one
In
spot.
that general area in South Dakota.
Yeah. Everything's right there.
So this state park is the Mac Daddy of all state parks because it is amazing. Really, it could have been a national park, I feel like.
I have heard a lot of people say this should be a national park.
I agree.
The history of it, I looked up some of the history, and basically the state got to it first and won't let go.
Okay, well, I don't blame them.
It would have been a national park.
So it's definitely one to see. It has more to offer than some national parks do.
Oh, absolutely.
So this park cannot be missed. It's definitely one you need to add to your list if it is not on there already because it's 10 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I did today's quiz.
And tell them what you told me it was called.
I said I was going to call it the impossible quiz.
So that means I'm going to fail. She has set me up for failure.
No, I'm trying to reword it so it wasn't as impossible. So you still have a chance. And there's not as many questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm not even... Okay.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Custer State Park is bigger in acreage than how many national parks?
Oh my gosh. Is this multiple choice?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got... we have... I didn't write all the answers down, so I'm going to have to make these up, too.
Okay.
Okay, so to make it multiple choice, is it bigger than 8, 18, 28, 38?
28.
18.
Okay.
Custer State Park is bigger in acreage than 18 national parks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because I know the acreage, because I wrote it down somewhere else, that doesn't, in the numbers, that does not surprise me. Because there's several I can think of off the top of my head right now that it's
that
probably bigger than.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it since I don't know for sure, but...
So I looked, the one that's closest in size is Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Okay.
Which is just in North Dakota. But Theodore Roosevelt is split between 3 different units
Right.
So if you wanted to put it into one spot, it's a smidge smaller than Arches and a smidge bigger than Dry Tortugas.
Wow.
Right?
Wonder what Dry Tortugas encompasses. I wonder if, like, what
How much water it is?
Yeah.
I don't
Huh.
know.
Interesting.
That's interesting, yeah. That was crazy.
Okay. That was a cool question. Yep.
Okay, here we go. The following numbers, true or false?
Is this why you were late?
Yeah. Is this the correct longitude and latitude for Custer State Park?
I quit. This is going to be the Cheyenne blog and vlog from now on.
Okay. Well, you know it's going to be true because I can't just make this stuff up.
Well, yeah, you could.
Okay,
I wouldn't make a difference.
Okay. Longitude, negative 103.689. And latitude, 43.61433.
Well, now you told me it was true, and thank goodness. Like I know that. What does negative even mean?
It's been a long time since I've done longitude and latitudes.
I don't know that I ever have, but I will tell you this. I do have the longitude and latitude of, I think, Iron Mountain. No, it's not. Just kidding. It's the feet and the height. Or the, never mind.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You know, it's okay.
Just kidding. I wouldn't have gotten it anyway.
All
so it
right,
doesn't
all
matter.
right. The next one is easier.
Okay.
Which national park was founded the same year as Custer State Park? The Smokies, Shenandoah, Grand Canyon, or Arches?
Shenandoah.
Grand Canyon.
Okay, what year?
1919. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a pretty decent, like,
Yeah.
way
That's
back.
older. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is older? The Smokies as a national park or Custer as a state park?
You wait till next week.
No, in trouble.
I feel like Custer.
Custer is older.
Okay, well, finally.
Custer is older. The Smokies, so Shenandoah, Acadia, and the Smokies were all granted, like Congress.
Okay.
Congress
Words are hard.
passed the act for Shenandoah, Smoky Mountains, and Mammoth Cave. Those three. They passed the act for those all the same year, which was 1926.
Okay, I was thinking it 20s. Yeah,
Custer
so still
was
pretty close.
Yeah, it's about almost 10 years difference.
Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty cool. Okay, last question.
Whew, I've gotten one right.
I told you today is hard. Which of the following can you not hunt in Custer?
Okay.
Buffalo, deer, elk, coyote, turkey. And by buffalo, I mean bison.
Okay, bison?
Nope,
But
you can hunt bison.
I don't know any of those that you can't hunt. Elk?
Nope.
Really?
It's the weirdest one.
Turkey.
Nope.
What?
I call it this deer and coyote.
Coyote.
Yeah! Coyote!
Okay.
So I thought that would be on there for sure because they're one of the predators of the area.
Right,
But-
and we're just so overrun with them.
Yeah, but no.
Okay.
The local hunts,
I guess that makes sense.
there's turkey, elk, and deer. And then for the buffalo, they have two different hunts. One is a
thought they
trophy
did.
hunt and one is a non-trophy hunt.
But then I thought, well, maybe they're protected there. You know?
There's certain seasons, you have to get all the permits
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. And because there's people in the park, so you can't just go in and...
I would have definitely
Start
guessed
shooting.
elk second, though. Like that.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to shoot them here unless it's the specialized elk hunt.
Interesting.
So, I thought that
Good
was pretty fun.
questions.
They were hard.
Yeah, they were hard.
But they were different. I thought they
Yeah.
were pretty cool.
Yeah, they were good. Okay, so now I'm going to come at you with the national park numbers. And this park, like everything else, is pretty impressive in its numbers. There are 9 campgrounds.
Golly.
9.
Where?
I maybe remember seeing a couple.
Yeah.
And they have campsites for tents, RVs. They also have horse stables. So if you have horses and want to go there and ride, they have a campground in that area for the horse owners as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. But 9
That's pretty cool.
campgrounds.
9 different ones.
Yeah. They have one scenic byway, and that is called the Peter Norbeck Scenic Highway. And it's like one of the top 10 scenic byways
Yeah.
in the United States. So that's pretty cool. And that scenic byway is made up of 3 different roads. So 2 scenic roads. One is Iron Mountain Road and one is Needles Highway. And then the 3rd road is the Wildlife Loop that makes up that scenic byway. There are 2 visitor centers, 71,000 acres, 27 hiking trails, and 4 restaurants.
Dang.
I know.
For a state park.
Yeah, a state park.
A state park.
Think about your surrounding state parks.
So Cove Lake is,
Yeah.
well, okay, Norris Dam State Park is the closest to us today.
Right.
And there's 2 campgrounds.
2.
There's
How
a
many
store.
visitors are
There's a visitor center. Because it's by the pool.
Yeah,
That was-
yeah.
the pool's closed
there?
down.
I was trying to think if there was another one.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's not a restaurant.
So, this park is very impressive.
Absolutely.
Very impressive. So what we did, who went? Myself and my husband Blake, Cheyenne and her husband Tyler, and her 2 kids, Evie and Finley, and then her parents, Scott and Michelle, went on this trip. And we actually went very recently. We went May 19th through the 29th of this year, 2023. So this one's still fresh on our minds.
Oh, yeah. So how we got there, we flew from McGee Tyson in Knoxville to Rapid City via a crazy detour. We talked about that in last week's episode.
We
so
did.
If you want to go back and listen to that, you can. So we drove to a little bit of everywhere. Mostly we stayed in Rapid City while we were visiting at Custer.
Yes.
So we were staying at Rough Riders, which is in Rockerville Lodge.
We were
No.
staying at Rockerville Lodge. Yeah.
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 It's like, that's not... We have stayed.
We have.
I didn't update my notes. That's the problem. We stayed at Rough Riders when we were in Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes, in Medora.
When we were staying in Rockerville, we stayed in Rockerville Lodge, which was fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars.
Yes, for sure.
Amazing place to stay in the middle of everything in the Black Hills.
Yeah.
Highly recommend
Yeah.
staying there.
It was clean. It had everything you needed.
Absolutely.
Like full kitchen. Of course, bathroom, bedroom, kind of like a small living area.
Yeah.
So
Our room, so we had 6 people sleeping in our place. We were on the bottom floor, and our back door, we had a back door and a front door. Our back door opened up to a playground, so the 4-year-old was in heaven and frequently asked to go back to the hotel.
yeah.
So it was incredible. And then for Custer State Park, there are fees to get in. So you buy a daily pass, but that gives you 7 days. So it's $20 per vehicle. Or you can buy an annual pass, which is $36, which is still
that's not bad.
nothing. Nothing at all. So I thought those were, and since it's a state park, like our national park stuff doesn't help with anything.
And a lot of times your state parks do not charge a fee.
Right.
Yeah. But, I think this one is definitely well worth it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So top spots at or around the park. The first thing I put on here were the events. And a lot of people go to Custer for the Buffalo Roundup, which happens in September. So we missed it by months.
Yeah.
Months and months. But every year they round up their buffalo and they test them to see their genetic makeup, how they're doing, if they're sickly, if they have some disease. that like can spread really fast and kill the herd out. They just see how they're doing, count them, and then brand them so they know that they belong to the park, and then send them back out.
I would say they vaccinate them as well.
And vaccinate them, yes. They also vaccinate them. So they have a good genetic pool there in the park, and a healthy pool. So they do have, buffalo hunts every year, and so some of that is with number management.
I did not see any branded bison though. That would have been cool. Did you? I did not see that. Cool.
I did.
What did it look like? Can you describe it?
It's numbers.
Oh, okay.
It's just numbers.
I gotcha.
It's I don't remember the exact code. It's like the first two numbers are the year they were born, and the second two numbers is something else.
Yeah, I didn't.
So when they
that.
do
That's
hunts, they have like a 5-year hunt, I think. So you can only kill the buffalo that have the certain number on them. That's how they dictate.
That's unfortunate.
I know. So you gotta go hide. Hide your butt. Yeah. But that's how they keep it.
And I've heard great things about that. Like they serve meals. It's an all-day thing. You bring your camping chairs and you set up shop and watch them round it up with their cows.
It feels like cows.
With their horses. Can you imagine?
They are called cowboys.
That's what's in my mind right now.
Cows.
Yes, with their horses. That would be really cool to watch.
Absolutely. I don't want to see a real life cowboy. That'd be cool.
Yeah, nobody's going to complain about that.
They also have, in the surrounding areas, they have a lot of things. Sturgis is the big one. Yeah. They also have a bicycle trek. You come out on your bicycle and ride.
Blake would hate that.
Yeah. They have the one that made me laugh the hardest though is the Sound of Silence Tesla rally.
Interesting.
Because they're quiet.
Right.
One day when I own a Tesla, I won't laugh at it.
There were I noticed quite a few charging areas, and that surprised me for South Dakota, or just for out in the wilderness where we were at. I feel like there was a nice amount.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to have to go get Finley. I can hear him crying.
Okay. So the second top spot that I have around the park is the wildlife loop. So as you know, Blake and I love seeing the wildlife. That's our favorite part of the parks. So this wildlife loop is top tier. It is 18 miles. It is in fact a loop road, and it is a great spot to see all kinds of wildlife. So you can see pronghorn antelope, bison, burros. So they have the wild burros that you can feed carrots, and they will come up to your car. They are used to this. And so make sure you pack carrots if you go on the wildlife loop. Prairie dogs, of course, and we got to see all of those. So make sure you bring the carrots for the burros if that is something that you decide to do. That wildlife loop is definitely worth it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. And we did bring carrots, and we did feed the burros, and it was hilarious. Because you just get out of your car, and as soon as they see that carrot bag, they know you have carrots. So I have a picture. I was feeding one, and one comes up on this side and one comes up on the other side and just sandwiched me in.
Oh.
I was surrounded by burros.
Nice.
And I'm afraid of them.
Yeah, I guess I kind of am too.
I'm afraid of horses and cows as well, though.
I'm
just
not
because they're
afraid
like
of cows.
big, bulky.
Right.
It's just not my comfort zone. So, but it was really fun to feed them.
Yeah.
It was. The other big spot that people go to is Sylvan Lake. Sylvan Lake was the film site for National Treasure. It's the lake that in the movie they make it seem as if it's right behind Mount Rushmore, but it's not. It's a distance away. But it was really pretty. One of the prettiest lakes with the surroundings.
I agree, yeah.
That I've seen. So you can fish there, paddleboard, kayak, canoe, You can swim. There was a little beach area. There's a campground there, of course. And then there's a hiking trail around the back that has, you can see where they've dammed the backside. And then there's also the waterfall from the dam. And then there's a second waterfall that's in almost like a little tiny slot canyon, a miniature slot canyon where the water is coming off the lake, which also really freaks me out because I'm scared of drowning. So that made me really nervous, actually, because the water, because you could really tell from the backside that you were several feet under the water level. It was cool though.
It was cool.
It was cool. And then I think while we were there was a wedding or something, because there was a group of people very well dressed and they were all cheering at the same time.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a wedding.
I recommend that hike though. Was that called the Sylvan Lake? I do believe
It's just
called the Sylvan Lake
hike. Sylvan Lake Loop hike, maybe.
Okay. It was rated easy.
That was a lie.
But yeah, that was not a fact. You did have to do a little bit of, tiny bit of rock climbing.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Boulder climbing.
It was like there were rocks and there were steps etched out of the rocks. But the trail was kind of hidden, so we kind of went the wrong way and then had to kind of snake around to get back to the right spot. So it was kind of iffy.
I would say moderate would be a better description of that part of the trail, but a lot of the trail is like gravel and flat. But I do think that trail is definitely well worth it, and it was a lot of fun. It was really pretty. We actually got to see 2 bald eagles at the dam area, and that was really cool. And it was an awesome trail. I definitely recommend doing that trail. So the next top spot that I have listed is Needles Highway. So this is one of those scenic roads that you can drive. You have to drive if you're at Custer, in my opinion. It's 14 miles long, and the name comes from the needle-like formations of the granite. The road, this was pretty cool. Hi. Hey, buddy. This was pretty cool when I was doing my research. The road was planned by the former South Dakota governor, Peter Norbeck, which is where, what the scenic byway is named after. And he marked that entire course of the road on foot and horseback. It was completed in 1922. So you said the park was established in 1919, correct? So 3 years after that road was completed, which is pretty cool because 3 years to do this 14-mile long highway in 1922, that definitely was not an easy time to carve a road in. So that drive usually takes between 45 and 60 minutes, and there is a spot that is very narrow. So if you have a camper or just a large vehicle in general, just make sure that you're able to fit through that. And it is 8 feet wide and 9.9 feet high. So they were driving a Tahoe.
We had a Tahoe.
And that fit through. So, I mean, I don't know that. Maybe like a dually truck, that wouldn't work. Maybe that would. I can't think of anything much bigger than a Tahoe, but.
Yeah.
But maybe the width of that truck. But definitely, camper wise, I don't know.
Yeah. I know that there are some trucks that they have to put their mirrors in to get through. We didn't have to do that with the Tahoe.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Sorry, my dog's out here and he's being crazy. My baby's here. He's gonna be crazy in a minute.
He is not being crazy.
He's not being crazy right now. It's gonna happen though.
It is not. He's an angel.
So we were driving through one of the first tunnels in the Needles, and Tyler gets really nervous when he drives, and so he's like inching along, and I'm taking a video because in the video you can kind of tell how close we are to the wall.
Yeah, you could reach out and touch it.
I could reach out and touch it on my side, and my dad could reach out and touch it on his side. So we're inches away on either side, and Blake is behind us, and he honks the horn, and it scares Tyler. Oh my gosh. He screams a cuss word and then flips the bird to Blake, which is even more funny because I've got all of this on video, and then we laugh about it because it's just funny. That's not one of the videos I'm going to share because there's bad words in it. But
We
it
need
does
to learn
exist.
how to edit that and bleep that out and
I
share
know.
it because it's really
It's
funny.
so funny. It's so funny.
Poor Tyler.
I know. So opposite of the Needles Highway is Iron Mountain Road. And Iron Mountain Road has Custer on the bottom and Mount Rushmore at the top. And so this road, made by the same person, they purposefully made this road a fun road to drive slow. So it's a 17-mile road. In 17 miles, there's 314 curves. Wow. There's 14 switchbacks, and there's 3 pigtail turns.
Which were so fun.
They were so fun, and they were beautiful.
They
the
were,
construction.
yeah.
And it's exactly what you're thinking of. Like, the road is straight, and then it does a whole circle to go the other way.
Yeah, so much fun.
So they were really fun. On that, there's 3 tunnels, and when they built these tunnels, you have to drive from the southern portion to the northern portion. When they built the tunnels, they perfectly line up with Mount Rushmore. Unfortunately, while we were there, the air quality was really cruddy. There was a fire in Canada, so the smoke and all of that had came down. So you couldn't see Mount Rushmore out of the tunnels. But on a really good, clear day, you know, you can see Mount Rushmore when you're coming out of the tunnels. And there's 2 areas that split off. So the right lane and the left lane split. So you're driving a one-way on each side. So they really, I don't know much about constructing roads, but they really spent a lot of time figuring out how to make these really cool drives.
Yeah.
And that one takes about 45 minutes too. Yeah. The speed limit is 35.
Yeah. And I do think the motorcycles like to take these roads too. I think these are fun roads for them as well.
Absolutely. And there were so many like side by side rentals.
There were.
Everywhere. Or like what are those called? It's got the 2 wheels in the back and 1 in the front, like a Spider or something.
Yeah. But you know, I don't remember, because I thought about that today. I don't remember seeing those side-by-sides on those roads.
I don't either.
So.
But there were so many rental
there
places
were, yeah.
for them. I don't know where they were going.
No, I don't either.
But I think that would be fun to.
Oh, for sure.
To ride on.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what we'll do next time, or our favorite park story. One of my favorite parts was actually going to the visitor center near the wildlife loop. Did you go in that one?
Yes.
It was one of my favorite things that we got to do. We watched the movie. The seats were super comfortable, and the movie was really good.
We did not get to watch the movie.
I don't know how many minutes long it was, but it wasn't too long, and it just told you about the park, and then just the different like exhibits in the visitor center were just really good. Like there was an interactive exhibit where you got to see what would happen if you got closer and closer to a bison.
Evie loved that one.
I loved that one.
It was so fun.
There was a big like map. I'm trying to remember what it was of the different places in the park. So that was cool. Yeah.
With different things, with different information.
It had like a timeline on the wall of the park and things that had happened there.
There was a rock wall. Evie, she was playing on the rock wall in the visitor center.
I don't remember that. So the visitor center was really cool, and I'm glad that we made time for it because we almost skipped over it just because it was closed when we were coming in and out several times. But I highly recommend seeing that.
Yes. I also love the visitor center. We didn't get to watch the movie because we had a reservation for later in the evening and had to get going for that. But while we were there, the volunteer was telling us about the Peter Norbeck Outdoor Education Center and was telling us that Evie would really like that. Like she'd just turned 4. And so she was saying that they have like outdoor trails that they do with scavenger hunts, different art projects and stuff like that, all in this outdoor visitor center.
Cool.
So I would like to go back and do that next time we go.
Yeah. Something else that I enjoyed was we took one of the back roads, and I can't remember which one it was, but We like to explore back roads and see where they lead us, and just to see what we can see. A lot of times you can see wildlife on those back roads, and we actually found really a huge herd of the bison. Like, I feel like that's where the majority were at, and it was almost like a little nursery because it was all of these mamas and the babies. And I actually went live there, so if you want to go back and watch that video, I just went live for a few minutes, but we were just surrounded by bison, mamas and babies, and it was just cute. I really enjoyed it there.
Yeah, so Custer, we've been talking about it as if we spent the whole time together in Custer.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't. We were there on a couple, 2 days, over 2 days. The first day we were together, the second day we weren't.
Because we did not do it the second day.
They didn't do it the second day. They went back and did a few other spots.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But the second day, I think we ended up on the same back road. Because we ran into that same herd. Well, I assume it's the same herd.
Right.
Where it was just a bunch of mamas and a bunch of babies.
Yeah.
And it was really cool.
It was cool.
That back road, it was still a paved road.
Or gravel, yeah. I felt like it was gravel.
Yeah.
But it was good, and it led us somewhere that we needed to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was cool. So you'll have to go back and check that out because it was neat to see.
Yeah. So the other thing that we did, so me and my dad signed up to do a horse ride, and then it ended up having to be canceled because there was construction going on, and it was spooking the horses. And like I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of things that are bigger and taller than me with big teeth. So I do not want to be on a horse and it gets spooked.
Right.
So they did cancel that. But the other thing that we signed up for, they have a chuck wagon cookout. It's probably my favorite thing we did on the whole. Second favorite thing on our whole Black Hills trip. My second favorite thing was this cookout. You load up. No, before that. You stand in line to get your cowboy hat and bandana. Okay. You get your cowboy hat and you get your bandana, and then they split you up into different parties. So there were 4 different chuck wagons. And basically, it's a truck that pulls a wagon, and it's a covered wagon, like Oregon Trail type stuff. None of us got dysentery, though. It was fine. So then they separate you between the different wagons. You load up, and then there is hay on the floor, but the seats were actual seats. It wasn't just sitting on hay bales. So you start the drive. Yeah. You start the drive, and it took almost 45 minutes to an hour to get to the cookout location. And so during that time, you have a band member that is with you. And so they sing songs. Our guy, he played the guitar and the harmonica.
Cool.
I can't remember his name. It was Cowboy something that started with a K.
Okay.
Cowboy Kevin, maybe. Keith. Maybe Keith.
Did he ride on a cow? That's really what's most important.
No. No. But so he told his story. And so he was born and raised there, lives in a log cabin that him and his papa built 60 years ago. Really cool. You get to learn their story. And then he has a bachelor's degree in something science, like biology, like a general science. I think it was in biology.
Yeah.
And he was in his 60s, and we sang songs on a covered wagon, riding through the prairies. We sang Home on the Range next to Buffalo, and it was the highlight. I videoed that. I think that's one of the things we'll share.
Yeah.
In the post. But then you get to the end of your wagon ride, and it's set up in a holler, in one of the hollows that's there, and there's picnic tables. Everything is set up. Well, why are you crying, my friend? Why are you crying? Okay.
we did not go on this chuck wagon ride. So just
Yes.
we did not attend that, so I cannot speak on that. So
Sorry, please hold. Please hold.
I have to move on to mine though. So
It's okay. It's okay.
and we can come back.
Give
You
me
want to?
10 seconds.
Oh my goodness, you
Just
just
give me 2 seconds.
You're just hungry.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. So once you get to the holler where the food is, there's picnic tables set up, and then there's a huge smoker and a grill. And so you literally just line up. You had to pre-order what you wanted, so steak, a hamburger, or vegetarian. Hello, steak. And so you line up, you get your food. We got baked beans, cornbread, a steak, a cookie, and a piece of watermelon. And then we all ate. You had to sing songs, of course, because by that time all the wagons were there, so the whole band was there. So you all got to sing songs, have fun, and then at the end, we all got in a big circle, and they played music in the middle of the circle, and we danced around the circle, and it was so weird, so fun. But one of the coolest things they did, my dog is driving me nuts today.
He's fine.
He's ridiculous. So one of the cool things they did, they lined us all up, and then they had us all scream. And then it was like a real fast, they said scream fast but low. And so we all screamed really loud and really low, and you could hear it echoing through all of the hills.
Oh, cool.
And it was so cool just to hear it bouncing back and forth for a few seconds. It wasn't just
cool.
like one echo and comes back. It was a frequent echo.
Cool.
It was really cool. And then we loaded back up in the chuck wagons, and then it was like a 10-minute ride back to where we started.
Huh.
So they did the long way to get there.
Yeah.
And then the short way back home.
And we actually passed, not their group, but we passed a group doing that same chuck wagon ride on Iron Mountain Road, I think, is where we were. So they do take one of the roads that you can access with a vehicle as well. So something that I want to do when we go back, if we go back, is I would like to go to the park during the bison roundup that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that would just be super cool to see and like really set the scene, and just, I just think that'd be really cool. So like we said, it's in September, and you watch the cowboys and cowgirls round up the bison so they can work the animals. And I would think that would just be super cool. So if we ever go back, that's something I'd like to go in September and see that.
Yep, agreed.
For sure.
Agreed.
So
I'd like to go back and do that.
So that's what we have for Custer State Park. The blog post for this park will be posted next Monday. And on that, I think I will be posting like a 2 or 3 day itinerary. So definitely check that out.
Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find all of those in the links in our link tree.
Yes, yeah. And if you want to join our private Facebook group, you are so welcome to do that. And that is a great place that you can share your travel itineraries and your travel plans, and just, you know, share back and forth and see if people have been there, have any tips and tricks. So that's a great place to do that if you would like to join us there.
And this one, we are going to be a little different. So we're not going to do a live in 2 weeks because it is the end of spring and starting summer. So we are going to take a week off. We're going to do some behind the scenes admin stuff. So we can continue to do this and make it better and better. So if you have any suggestions, if you want to share any stories, any ideas, any parks that we should cover, let us know. And we're going to get on it the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so this is kind of the end of season 1. So we kind of did it as the seasons go. So this was our spring season, and then we will be starting season 2 soon. So make sure you stay tuned to see when that will be starting. And we are so excited. We have a bunch of wonderful parks left to cover. So we hope that you will join us. And like she said, any suggestions or parks you want us to cover, let us know. And we would be happy to do that. So until next time,
We'll see you at the park.